Mystery solved.
All right. Now let's see.
Mystery solved.
All right. Yep. It is now working. Okay.
Yay.
Now let me verify that another audio channel is working. And let me make sure that okay. All right. I'm thinking everything's going to work now. So let's get started.
Okay. You gonna start or should I?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. Did you want to start or should I?
Well, either way, I hate it. We're live now. We got everything shaken out, and it only took 2 minutes and 15 seconds to get our act together. So I'm
okay.
thinking it's working.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Okay. So if that's the case, my name is Truman Burst. I am Bishop Dr. Truman Burst from the Good Shepherd Ministries, and which was formed in 1999. And before that, it was always a ministry for me to help people with natural remedies.
Yes.
I saw people suffering, as a child, and which brought me to my calling, and that was to help people with natural remedies. So for over 60 years now, that's what I'm doing, helping people to understand how to use natural remedies. We don't prescribe, we don't diagnose, we don't promise cures, and we're not selling products. We're teaching a class here, and all the people in the room and in the rooms, YouTube and Dialpad meetings and and Jitsi and all the other channels. We're here to talk about natural remedies, which are foods. So it's impossible for us to diagnose and prescribe, since we're talking only about foods. So please, understand that, and that's what we do. So if you have a question, a comment or a suggestion, please don't let it be about yourself, because we're not supposed to be talking about you and natural remedies.
Right.
That's right.
We don't talk about specific issues in general as they relate to a person. We talk about dis-ease, dis-ease, and various conditions that people could suffer from. But
and then we talk about how to comfort them with food, with herbs, natural remedies, which has been done since the beginning of time. But there are people who, find that this information is they misconstrue it, to be medical knowledge or drugs or something like that. Please don't confuse it for that, because that's not what we're doing. And my telephone number is 503-362-5899. That's 503-362-5899. My email address is Truman, TRUMAN, at herbalhealthreview.com. Just the same as the website, herbalhealthreview.com, where all of my work is published, and with links to information and so forth about natural remedies. It's really a great resource. I continue to update it on a daily basis. And so that being said, and who we are and what we're doing here, now let's start this off, and let's start this off with uh, 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 some scripture. That's a good place to start. Um, and when we're, because what we're doing here, we're striving for perfection uh, of understanding, because our people perish for lack of knowledge. Striving for perfection. Hebrews 6 1. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Christ, let us go on unto perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith toward God. 2, of the doctrine of baptisms and of laying on of hands and of resurrection of the dead and of eternal judgment. And 3, and this we do if God permit. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Ghost and have tasted the good word of God and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of God afresh, and put him to an open shame. For the earth which drinketh in the rain that come oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs, meat for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessings from God. But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. But, beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that accompany salvation, though we thus speak, for God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints, and do minister. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua, all praises to the Most High God. Praise, worship, and thank you as we receive your complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name, so be it. Amen. So that being said, let us open the microphones for anyone who has a question or a topic or a suggestion. But we need to caution Edward that last week he he may have said something that or he started to say something that may have offended someone, and we want to caution Edward to be cautious about that, because we don't want to offend people. We just want to make sure that people get information about these natural remedies. And I just want to say that because we don't want to be misconstrued as doing something we're not doing. And I see some microphones open. And Edward, did you have a comment? Okay. Then let's go over here. We got an open microphone, and an open microphone over there.
I'll talk when I get out of this meeting, okay? Thank you. I'm in a meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, brother and sister Robinson, your microphone is open. Do you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion? No, but it keeps coming open. Okay, be careful, because it does cause an echo when your microphone remains open. I'm going to close it. Going over to Travis. Did you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion? Okay, no question, no topic, no suggestion, and that microphone is accidentally open. That's okay. All right. And
are you sure your speakers are up? Do you have your volume turned up? Have you heard any talking there?
Let me make sure that it is. It should be. Yeah. Let's see. Well, wait a minute. Maybe they weren't. Go ahead and try that again, folks. Maybe my speakers weren't loud enough. Go ahead again. I hear you now. Go ahead.
Hey, Doc, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Doc?
I hear you 10 by 10. Go ahead.
All right, Doc. Could you talk about the benefits of beef organ supplements? And could you give me your telephone number one more time? I was wondering if you're available to talk tonight. I got to ask you something.
Okay.
Are you available for a conversation tonight?
Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, because you said your number. I have your number, but it's
okay.
Busy. So
we can do that.
You available for a conversation tonight? You available to talk tonight?
Possibly. It depends on how hard you work me here today.
Hey, I got a simple question, but I got a favor I want to ask you offline. Benefit both of them. Give me your number again.
503-362.
503.
Then after after 503 is 362. After 362 is 5899. Okay?
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
I want you to talk about the benefits of consuming beef organ supplements like the liver, the heart, the kidney.
Yes. Organ meats, which are the meats that we're supposed to be eating when we eat meat. We're supposed to eat the organ meats because the organs have an affinity for our organs. You eat something for the liver, it's good for the liver. Eat some from the heart, it's good for the heart. But we're not doing that. We're going for the steaks, for the skin, for that beef, which is very hard to digest, and has less beneficial qualities. Yeah, we can talk more about that. Okay, and did you have?
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll be looking for your call, your question, or so forth. You can text me on my telephone number. You know that.
Yeah. I'll text you. It's a simple yeah or nay. I know you'll say yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And looking around here, we're looking for anybody who has a question or a topic. And I see Travis over there. Your mic is open again. Did you have another question or another suggestion? No. Okay, I'm going to close it. All right. But please open it again. If you think of something while we're talking and you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion, we're going to answer it spontaneously. We teach what you want to learn spontaneously. We don't prepare, text here, reports and so forth. We do it spontaneously. Our fingers are nimble, and we go out to the internet and we find out answers to your questions, and that's what we do here. And of course, there's my book, Herbal Descriptions, which is on the website herbalhealthreview.com, which has all of the information that I've been publishing in it, all about herbs and individual herbs. So you'll be able to look up specific herbs like nettles, or ashwagandha, or liverwort, or any other herb. You could look it up in my Herbal Descriptions book. And of course, you can always email me for any questions, call me for any questions. And that being said, and no mics are open at the moment, let's talk about something that we don't very often have a chance to to talk about, and that is how important it is that our children go to school and have a school lunch, and that school lunch not be toxic. But that's not a possibility anymore. We have toxic school lunches. Some children, very poor, that's the only meal they get the whole day. Go to school and get that school lunch. So so that is putting at risk the poorest people. This is one of the saddest reports that one could report. And we're talking about a report that I received on November the 1st, 2022, just a few days ago, an update. And this is from Alliance for Natural Health. And they're reporting that from moms across America, and what they're saying is that you have likely seen the National School Lunch Testing Program results showing that 95.3% of the 43 school lunch samples tested were positive for glyphosate. At 74% were positive for other harmful pesticides. 100% of every school lunch tested positive for neurotoxic heavy metals. High levels of veterinary drugs and hormones were detected, and low levels of nutrients. In short, the food we are feeding the future leaders of our country, they called it abysmal. I call it a horror story. 30 million GMO meals are served each day to our children, and for a large number of them, the breakfast and the lunch that they eat at school are the only food they eat each day. They are solely dependent on the quality and nutrient density of the federal school meal program for their nourishment, which supports or diminishes their brain development, their mental health, their bodily functions. The levels of nutrients they receive affect their bodies and futures in profound ways. Their learning ability, with they need hundreds of thousands of dollars of special education during their school years, or they will be or they will be an innovative leader changing the world with an invention, this isn't going to happen. Their behavior will. Will they need disciplining, and will they end up in prison, in the prison system, because they were so toxified? 100% of the food that they're eating is toxic. So, we're talking about how this affects their bodies in the futures in profound ways. Their learning ability, and they need hundreds of thousands of dollars of special education. But will they need disciplining, and will they wind up in the prison system, or will they support and empower others as a CEO or a non-profit director? Their relationships with friends and family, will they be able to maintain valuable relationships, or will they be depressed and end up in expensive brain-altering psychotropic drugs that cause suicidal and homicidal thoughts and actions? And their outlook on achieving their potential in life. Will they have the brain capacity to take on challenges, innovate, create, invent, and contribute to the world, or will they simply consume entertainment and live off disability as a sick person? Because that's what we're creating. Go ahead, please. Did I have a question or a hand up here? Okay, I guess not. But this is what we're talking about. We've got some serious issues here, folks. Now, I'm not even going to get into the full article of it because it's deep. But to read what I just read to you, that this is what's happening to our children, is disgusting. So that's just one of the things that are on my mind today. I got a lot of things on my mind. I mean, we could talk. Right now, menopause is being medicalized, and we need to be aware of that, because it's kind of like saying you have a food allergy. Well, let's create a miracle for that. That's not what medicine is all about, I'm sure. So we need to take a look at, we need to take a look at menopause, because there's some new information that women need to know about that. We talked about something just a moment ago that everyone needs to know about, but let's talk about specifically women need to be helped to embrace, rather than to made to fear, menopause. It's a natural stage of life. The gaslighting of women over menopause in recent years has left many terrified of what awaits them as they approach their transition through this entirely natural stage of life. Now, more and more young women are expressing their fear of what the menopause might hold for them, fueled by the way it's portrayed in the media and as a narrowly defined symptomatic condition or even disease state that leaves women at the mercy of uncontrollable changes in their body that they have no control over. More so, a time which requires treatment with synthetic drugs for an indefinite period in order to continue to lead a meaningful life, despite any potential health risks posed by the medication. This is classic disease mongering. It's a tactic used by big pharma to generate a demand by healthy people for highly profitable drugs. The disturbing phenomenon was described by Ray Monahan and others in the BMJ for 20 years, some 20 years ago, and continues unabated. In the past, the topic of menopause was largely taboo, viewed somewhat paternalistically as a woman's issue, spoken of in hushed tones. Yet, incredibly, this view is still echoed by a recent IPSOS survey. Although conducted in the US, it explored attitudes towards menopause in 33 countries globally. However, the advent of hormone replacement therapy, HRT, has made menopause an increasingly hot, pun intended, of course, that's a pun there, a hot topic, but especially lucrative for the pharma industry, as it's a large, unavailable life stage for women who live through their 40s to their 60s. The HRT market is predicted to grow to $30 billion by 2028. However, those projections are based on the success of the campaign to medicalize menopause and instill fear into the hearts of younger women, whilst positioning HRT as the only savior to get you through. You know, ka-ching, ka-ching goes the electric cash register. But so what we're saying here, folks, is that there's big money in there, and that's why the natural foods that have been used for centuries for menopause, and let's go take a look at what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at what natural foods help with menopause. I'm not saying cure. I'm not saying it is the remedy. What I'm saying is this is what science knows that for centuries has helped women. And let's take a look at menopause. Let's take a look at what foods have been helpful. Let's take a look at them. Okay, I'm on the website, herbalhealthreview.com. herbalhealthreview.com. I've clicked on the common conditions button, and I've gone down until A, B, C, D, until I got to M. Now I clicked on menopause, and then it wants me to click on read more. And now I'm looking at the menopause reports of what has been done with natural remedies. And here's a natural formulation that this formula aids the menopausal woman, and it helps to alleviate hot flashes, dizziness, headaches, breathing difficulties, heart palpitations, and depression. I didn't say it was the cure for it. I didn't say it was a drug. I said it was a food, and these are the foods that have been used. And let's take a look at what foods they might be. I'm looking at this. I'm going to open that link in a new tab because all these links in these reports are active. You can click on the menopause formula and open it in a new tab. And I'm going to look at what a menopausal herbal formula looks like. It says menopause on it. It says number 1291. And I don't get anything from the sale of any product, but here is a menopause formula. It has black cohosh root, licorice root, false unicorn root. These are roots. These are foods. Eleuthero's coccidiosis, also known as Siberian ginseng. Eleuthero root is in there. That's going to give stamina and endurance. And there's squavine. There's an Indian or American Indian herb. Oh, and sarsaparilla root and blessed thistle. That's all. These herbs, these are all foods, all combined with a little bit of water, and they're stabilized with a special food grade alcohol, not the alcohol that people drink, and get drunk and so. No, this is a food grade special type of alcohol used, and only 20%. And that I admire, because so many of these tincture extracts are a lot of alcohol and very little herb. This is a lot of herb and a little bit of alcohol, and it's stabilized again. And if you don't like alcohol, they make it with vegetable glycerin. So I like this herbal product, and that's what those are the kinds of foods that can help. And when you look at let's take a look at what black cohosh does. Okay, let's look at one herb up here. We're going to go back up to the website. Let's look at my book up here. Herbal descriptions. I'll click on herbal descriptions. Come over here to single tincture. Where is it? Single herbs. There it is. Click on single herbs on the website herbalhealthreview.com. Up comes that was a beautiful Egyptian blue lotus. It came up there. But let's look at black cohosh. It was black cohosh, right? Okay, let's see black walnut. Here it is, black cohosh root. We click on black cohosh root, and we read more. So this is the food, and it tells you all of the natural things this food does for the body, because foods feed the body and they cause a reaction. Okay, drugs cause a different reaction, and they're not good for the body. Drugs are not good for the body. Foods are good for the body. So this particular group of black cohosh root, this one herb, is an alterative. It's anti-inflammatory. It's anti-rheumatic, anti-spasmodic. It's an antidote. It's an astringent. It's a birthing aid. It has calcium. It is a cardiotonic for the heart. It has chromium. It's a diaphoretic. It's a diuretic. It's an emmenagogue. It's an expectorant. It's a slightly hypnotic. It's hypoglycemic. It has some iron and magnesium and manganese and a lot of nutrients, including phosphorus and potassium. It's sedative, which will calm the nervous system. It has selenium, which is the herb that cancer don't like. So it has selenium, silicon, single herbs. It's got it's also a vasodilator. It opens up the veins and dilates the veins and so forth. The vitamin A is in there, and vitamin B1, B2, riboflavin. It's loaded with nutrients. So this is a food. And in a summary, black cohosh, Actaea racemosa, or Cimicifuga racemosa, is a member of the buttercup family. It's a perennial plant. It's native to North America, and mostly historical names for this herb include snakeroot, black bug bane, rattleweed, macrotis, macrotis, and rheumatism weed. Black cohosh has a long history of use. Native Americans used it, for example, to treat musculoskeletal pain and fever and cough and pneumonia and sluggish labor and menstrual irregular, and there it is, menstrual irregularity. I can say this, menstrual irregularities. And also European settlers used black cohosh as a tonic to support women's reproductive health. So that's what that food does historically and traditionally. There's just it's loaded with nutrients, calcium, chromium, iron, magnesium, and so forth. Uh, and it's wonderful. And here are some drug interactions. Are there any? Let's take a look. Because there are no known drug interactions. But a caution: anytime you're using foods and foods as medicine, as some people do, uh, and, uh, and anytime that you're using, there may be some interaction with the drug. So you want to look that up. And in this case, black cohosh has no known drug interactions, but still always keep your medications 2 hours separate from your foods so there will be no interactions. But a lot of people are taking drugs and then they're eating certain foods and they're getting a reaction and they don't know why. So let's keep our medications 2 hours before, 2 hours after uh, drugs. But I'm looking here to see if there's any hands up, any questions, any comment, and I don't see anybody having any comment. But I think you get the point of what I'm talking about. We don't need to just totally take a $30 billion cash cow that they can push drugs on and these drugs are chemicals, and and people don't do well on chemicals because the body doesn't was not invented to run on chemicals. It was invented to run on food. And as you get in touch with that, and as you begin to rely on food instead of and if you need a drug, well, then it should be more temporary than permanent. Because a permanent a substance in your body that doesn't belong there in the first place, and may be tolerated, you may get a reaction. Then later you may get a different tolerance, and you may get a different reaction. So we got to really stick with the foods. And when we need medication, then we go to the doctor and we get medication. But if we don't need it, let's try to stay healthy, nourish the body. And one of the greatest things you want to know about that is the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system. It's a high nourishment diet system. And it's called Make Lifestyle Changes. And that's it right there. And when you get into that, that's nourishing you. Then you can try a natural remedy. If you think that it may be helpful, and if you need to go to the doctor and go see a doctor, well, then you should do that. But not unnecessarily. Okay, no more than you should unnecessarily have to go to an herbalist. If you learn how to eat right, take care of yourself, and have a good lifestyle and so forth, as much as humanly possible under the conditions that we're facing these days. I mean, when your kids are eating a school lunch, and you find out the school lunch, 100% of it is toxic. It's amazing to me that could go on in America for more than a minute. Something's wrong.
I'm thinking that a
Go ahead.
clarification is in order. With respect to the school lunches, in a recently published study, 100% of the lunches tested contained unhealthy levels of toxic ingredients. It's not that the meals themselves were toxic in their entirety. 100% of the meals tested contained toxic ingredients. So just wanted to clarify that because you can't be eating that school lunch, boy, because you're gonna die. It's only pizza, Ma. It was only pizza. No, that's not what we're not saying that the school lunches are 100% toxic. We're saying 100% school lunches tested contained
Have
unhealthy
toxic.
levels of toxic ingredients.
There we go. Good. We have to clarify these things.
Well,
Well,
yeah, because we don't want to go on the hook for making false claims.
No, we don't do
Right,
that.
but what about the
We go out of the way.
schools that they got rid of the pink slime in the schools, right? Then 7 school systems took it back in. What's up with that?
Because it was cheaper.
Yeah, but pink
No.
slime is made out of the leftovers of all the meat, and then since it's got all kinds of bacteria, they wash it with ammonia and then feed it to them.
Ugh.
You remember what that butcher said to you that one day, right?
Ugh.
That day that you were such a stink out of buying hot dogs, and one end was meat, the other end was like cereal and breadcrumbs. You remember what the butcher said? These times like these, it's hard to make both ends.
That's it.
Terrible.
I mean, that's
Okay.
pretty much what the school lunch ladies are dealing with. Pack your own lunch.
And what about the hospital food? Do you think that's beneficial? Anybody listening, when you go in a hospital and you really need some good nutrition, what do they give you? I don't even want you to think about it because it's really pathetic.
Yes. So, all right. Now so we opened up. We're talking about food here. Now let's take a look at the uh, uh, organ meats. Let's see what it says about that. Okay. Uh, okay. Organ meats. Organ meats. Let's see what one of my favorite authors has here. Okay. Organ meats. See what he says about organ meats. He's not going to say anything. Okay. So here's the question. And it's as of October 7, 2022. See, I like recent information. Oh, here's one, October 13, even more updated. Let's start with this one. Okay. Our organ meats and I clicked on it. Hello. There we go. Our organ meats and OFFAL, healthy to eat. All right. Although most of us rarely eat OFFAL, which is the other name for that is if it's called offal, and what that means it means organ meat. Organ meat. This is this nutritious ingredient is actually jam packed with important vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients that can have a huge impact on your health. Interestingly enough, organ meats are far higher in nutrients than the muscle meats that we're used to eating and pay big dollars for. Anyway, for instance, beef liver contains 50 times as much vitamin B12 as a steak. That's right, beef liver, 50 times as much B12 as in a steak. And it has more folate than B vitamins than any other food on the planet. Uh, so beef liver, it's one of the preferred organs for people who know about eating organ meat because
Dr.
of all the
Truman,
powder. Go ahead.
I used to grow up. I mean, when I was growing up in my family, there was a dish called chopped liver, and it's good. You can make it with good things. I just throw that in.
Mhm. Liver and onions. Man, I always
Oh
loved it.
yeah,
Mom made liver, onions,
yes, they
and
did
fried
all the
potatoes.
time.
Hey, that's what we lived on there. We loved that. Yeah, I remember that back in the day, back in the 40s. Yes. Now, uh, so okay, so we're talking about it's more the liver, the beef liver. It's more densely packed with vitamins and minerals than kale and spinach and broccoli. So, how can we start incorporating this superfood into our diet? Okay, well, so anyway, offal, OFFAL, that's organ meats. According to the Merriam-Webster, the official offal definition is the viscera and trimmings of butchered animal removed in preparing it for market or for consumption. That's the definition. Also known as organ meats or variety meats, offal, OFFAL, is not commonly consumed in most cuisines of the Western world. In many cases, we think of offal for dogs or animals rather than a nutritious addition to our diets. However, organ meats are loaded with important vitamins and minerals, often in much higher concentrations than many other foods. Furthermore, offal, OFFAL, has been highly valued in traditional Chinese medicine for more than 3,000 years. A basic tenet of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, is that consuming organ meats from animals will support the same organs in your own body. Until recently, offal had fallen out of fashion and was often seen as unacceptable or lower quality than traditional muscle meats. Western cuisine and culture, though, are slowly shifting, and more types of offal have made their way onto the menus of local restaurants. Ultimately, the difference between traditional meats and organ meats is that offal serves a different purpose during the life cycle of an animal. These particularly special types of offal, such as liver, kidneys, bone marrow, and heart, are especially high in nutrients that are essential to bodily functions. An obvious reason offal is less popular than traditional meats often has to do with the unappealing ways much of it is packaged and delivered. However, if you can get past the use of recipes that improve the offal taste and texture, enjoying offal from time to time can be a great way to add some variety to your diet and squeeze in some extra nutrients. Okay, the types of organ meats are liver, uh, heart, kidneys, tongue, sweetbreads, brain, tripe, gizzard, oxtail, liverwurst. Okay, those are those are your types.
I love liverwurst but I worry about the type of salt when it comes in the store package, so I leave it alone. But the what was the other one you said before that? Oh man,
Yeah, before
tongue.
liverwurst
Well, one of the things I ate when I was a young boy,
was
there on the
oxtail.
way, the block away from my apartment building was a school, but on the way was the delicatessen, and I'd always go and get my tongue sandwiches. I had my own money from the time I was a little boy. They were great. I don't know what they do for you though. I never read up on it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's just take a short class in that. Here it is. Let's talk about let's talk about the first one. Liver. Liver, often hailed as a nutritious superfood. Chicken liver has only 116 calories, but contains more than double the daily recommended value for vitamin A and vitamin B12 in each serving. And that's chicken liver, okay?
I like chicken.
Chicken liver. Oh, in addition, the folate and riboflavin in chicken liver equal out to over 100% of what the average person needs each day. And chicken liver is also contains high amounts of vitamin B6 and niacin and pantothenic acid and iron and phosphorus and selenium and copper. So liver, that's all just in liver. Let's look at the heart. The heart, while it may not contain as many nutrients as liver, the heart, and especially cow heart, provides you with the most CoQ10 of any of the awful meats. Now, CoQ10, that's the first thing that's listed when somebody has a stroke. They say, hey, oh, you need some CoQ10. I mean, look it up. You'll see you got a stroke. First thing listed, CoQ10.
How about before the stroke so you can avoid it?
That's a good point. Why not take heart, a meat, or supplement with extra CoQ10 before you have a heart attack, before you have a stroke? That's what I do. I know that's what you do. Is that right, Ed?
Oh yes, it's Edward, and yes,
okay,
yes, I do.
My dad's name is Ed. Okay, yeah. So heart. So heart provides you with the most CoQ10 of any of the other awful meats. Heart liver still has a ton of important vitamins too. Over 100% daily value of vitamin B12. And you need over half the riboflavin, along with significant amounts of niacin, iron, phosphorus, copper, and selenium. All in heart meat, especially cow heart. Okay, now kidneys. What about the kidneys? Eating kidneys, eating kidney parts is a concept you may need a bit of time to wrap your head around, but a cow kidney has over 5 times the amount of B12 that you need each day, as well as almost 2 times your value of riboflavin. And cooked cow kidney also can give you 228% of the daily value recommended for selenium. This trace mineral is associated with a number of powerful health benefits. Selenium. including the prevention of certain cancer types. Selenium, including it health benefits, including the prevention of certain cancer types and decreased oxidative stress and enhanced immune function. Wow, kidneys are really good for you. Hey, how about the tongue? I don't know. I would have trouble eating the tongue, but anyway,
No,
I
it
can't,
was delicious on rye bread
lick
sandwich.
the tongue. Don't eat it. Okay.
can't even get
As a
past it on the
variety,
plate. I
Wait a second. That was my favorite. Tongue
Yeah,
sandwiches on
Edward,
rye
that-
bread.
yeah,
of course,
but
it's going to be your
Called
favorite.
la lengua in Spanish. It's called la lengua when you want to buy it from the Hispanic places in your burritos.
Okay, great.
okay.
I'll remember that.
You know,
A variety of meat.
I'm all on board. I'm all on
I want
board.
to know why I ate it. How good is it?
Yeah, I'm all on
Tongue.
board with
Okay,
eating meats, but I don't know if I would be lining up for either the kidney or the liver because they're waste disposal organs, and it would depend on the environment that the cow was actually raised
Exactly.
in as to how toxic they'd be. I'm all about the heart and any other organ. I'm all about that. But
Vitamin B12
Yeah.
along with micronutrients.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, so we're going to finish here. The tongue. The tongue. A variety meats in the offal family go. Tongue is a popular but slightly less nutritious option than others. So it's popular but slightly less nutritious. The tough surfaced organ is rich in vitamin B12 along with other micronutrients like niacin, riboflavin, and zinc. Another factor about the heart is that making this awful less of a home run is that it has over 250 calories in just one serving. That's not an astronomical figure by any means, but it is higher than many other awful types. So you're going to get a lot of of calories in tongue. That's it for the tongue. Sweetbreads. Sweetbreads refers to the offal found in two separate parts of the body, the thymus and the pancreas. These, okay, while they aren't sweet, the thymus and the pancreas, while they're not sweet nor made from bread, these meats are not high on the nutrient winner list. They're not high in nutrients. They do, however, contain a large amount of dietary cholesterol and fat. While slowly uh, learning that eating foods high in healthy fats is not bad for you, but it's still worth noting. Now, this is also the first offal, OFFAL meat. It's the first offal meat. Sweetbreads is the first offal meat in which vitamin C wins the top spot on the nutrient profile, making cooking with it ideal for those looking to boost immunity and decrease cancer risk. Sweetbreads, thymus, and pancreas, boosting immunity and decreasing cancer risk. Kind of food. Wow. Brain. What about eating a brain? That don't sound right to me. Brain. Okay, people eat that, and I know they do. Brain. Surprisingly, cooking with brain parts may not be the smartest choice when selecting offal. While it has somewhat significant amounts of several nutrients, it also contains over 800% of the daily recommended value of cholesterol intake. Not only that, but consuming contaminated brains or spinal cords can increase the risk of prion diseases like bovine spongiform encephalopathy, also known as mad cow disease.
Right.
And for this reason, it's generally recommended to opt for muscle meats or other types of offal whenever possible. Don't eat brain. Okay.
And by all means,
glad.
know your butcher, know where your animal that you're buying is raised, know how it's been processed and what it was fed. Find a local farmer or rancher that grass feeds and grass finishes his cattle and buy that fresh off the butcher's table.
There
Now,
you go.
tripe
There you
the tripe is very popular among Hispanic people, and I love gizzards. Go ahead.
Tripe. So what is tripe? Tripe is another common offal. OFFAL. It's an offal type that is made from the lining of the stomach of various animals. Although it does contain almost 14 grams of protein, the other nutrients that it offers aren't found in very high amounts per serving. Okay, that's it for tripe. It's got 14 grams of protein.
It's
Go
just filler.
get yourself
It's
a
a filler.
righteous haggis. Go get your haggis. It's animal organs baked in a sheep's stomach. Go get you some haggis, proper haggis. That's what you need.
Yeah.
That'll
I
put hair on your chest and the bottom of your feet too if you're not careful.
Oh my goodness. Okay, gizzard. What about gizzards? Ranking above tripe. Well, hey, that's good. Right? They rank above tripe. Gizzards, and for a few nutrients, and carrying an astounding 44 grams of protein per serving, gizzard is a worthwhile offal meat to add to your list. What are gizzards exactly? Well, gizzards are a type of organ found in the digestive system of some animals, like chickens, that are used to grind up food. Now, it does contain quite a bit of cholesterol in each serving, but also includes 85% of the selenium that you need each day. So if you're really into selenium, you can have gizzard. That's going to give you a lot of selenium and 44 grams of protein. Okay. Oxtail. Now, I know Edward likes oxtail.
No, they do have it in all the Spanish markets. I like the necks. I love the turkey necks, man.
Okay. All right. And what is oxtail? This big name variety meat is quite literally the tail of a cow or an ox. There are recipes galore available for oxtail all over the internet. And they're providing plenty of ideas on cooking oxtail. But its nutritional value is not that impressive. Avoid this one if aiming for a high nutrient offal. That's it. It's low nutrition and there's not much in the tail. Okay. Liverwurst. Now Edward said he liked liverwurst. So liverwurst, also sometimes called liver sausage. It holds a similar profile nutritionally to liver, including a massive amount of vitamin A and vitamin B12. Its selenium content is also incredible, and it's high in riboflavin as well. So liverwurst is really good for you, Edward.
Did you hear of bratwurst? I don't know how it would compare. I'd have to.
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I think if I remember the word bratwurst, but
Yeah, they
it's
sell
not
it.
listed there. I don't know what a brat.
Now I gotta find liverwurst that's got the right salts in it, and I'm gonna start eating it again. I haven't eaten it in a long time.
Okay. So
It's really good.
okay. So okay. So that was our visit to meat, which I'm not a big meat eater. And it's not, but if you're going to eat meat, it makes sense to eat certain awful uh, uh, organ foods. That's it. That's what we know about that now.
Here's another thing I'd like to add. When I
Okay.
was very sick and my gut closed up, literally it was completely closed where nothing would pass through. And I found out and learned the way to heal things. Well, at that time I had to do 4 vegetables. But let's say you have leaky gut where your intestines have maybe holes in them. Tiny holes allows all that rotten putrefaction to leak through your gut. Leaky gut and leaky brain are basically synonymous. That's what causes it. So if you take a cow bone, a big one of their thigh bones, and you buy it at the supermarket, Whole Foods or someplace, you ask the butcher, it'll cost you. And you put the whole thing in a pot with water and boil it down for 8 hours. And you use that broth, there's a lot of bone marrow that's going to come out of it. You can use that to fix what is wrong inside there. It works beautifully. And that is not my opinion. That's my personal experience.
There you go. Well, that's good information. So um, we've got a hand up over here, and in area code 301 272. Do you have a question, a topic, or a suggestion? Your microphone is
Yes,
open.
hi.
Yes. Hi. How can we be helpful? What would you like to talk about? What would you
My,
like to learn
yes, my
today?
name is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, I'm sorry about that, Dr. Truman.
That's
I
okay.
had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. And so it's about someone who has cancer and has decided to use some of the herbs for
Okay.
comforting, you
Yes,
understand?
sure.
And so they're like stage 4, and a question came up about pain. After taking some of the different herbs and stuff that help comfort, is it normal to experience pain in the body?
Yes, and depending on the type of cancer and so forth, there definitely a lot of pain and are going on there, and we do need natural herbs that are calming to the nervous system and that have been used historically and traditionally for pain. We need to look at those kinds of herbs. Go ahead, Edward. I think you were about to say something.
I was just going to say, have him talk to me after the show if it's very serious.
Okay, is that right? We will give them a way to reach you, Edward, for that, for some other ideas regarding herbs to comfort people who are going through a great deal of pain, especially when there are things like cancer. So,
I want to say one more thing. All of the pain medications that are given to people on home hospice and palliative care interfere with the meridians, the acupuncture meridians, so you really can't heal them because the frequency from your creator, the one that's breathing you, actually has to come through your bones into your body, and that's how you get healed. It's just natural. It's always going on. But if you interfere with it with the wrong things like all of that, that's what stops people from healing.
there you go. So that's interesting information. And here is a pain be gone or herbal formulation. Let's take a look and see what's in it. Let's take a look at the herbs that are comforting when there's pain, and there's quite a few. Here is a formulation of herbs. This is formula, what does it say? Formula 1999. And it's using a host of herbs to comfort the body on a very wide spectrum, like fulvic acid, nettle, which these are all, fulvic acid particularly is going to be helpful for all digestive disorders. It's very comforting for all digestive disorders. And by the way, when there is one of the great comforting herbs when there is stomach cancer is is slippery elm bark powder. You make gruel out of it, which is a tea or like a soup, and you spoon feed this slippery elm, and it's very soothing to the stomach when people are suffering with pain and digestive disorders. And fulvic acid is very helpful with digestive disorders. Nettle root is nettle root and nettle leaf are anti-inflammatory. So is turmeric root. It is anti-inflammatory, which means it's helping the body when there's inflammation. And when there's pain, there's inflammation. So these are herbs that are comforting when there's inflammation. And it's nettle leaf, turmeric root. And an interesting thing about turmeric root is it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So people who have disorders of the brain and they need herbs that are anti-inflammatory and that cross the blood-brain barrier, well, turmeric root is valuable for that. And all of the mushrooms that are also very anti-inflammatory. And pain is when circulation is blocked. When circulation is blocked, you have pain. And when you're using these type of herbs, it helps to open up the circulation and unblock the pain. So there's all these herbs, and there is too many to mention in this one formulation. But there's all, including the mushrooms, herbs that are generally used for pain, like white willow bark, which is the origin of aspirin. White willow bark was discovered in the 1700s by a French chemist. And later, a German chemist found that work and said, I think I'll use that because my father just told me if I'm a good chemist, I would give him something for his arthritis to get rid of the pain. So he said, I'm going to give him some of that white willow bark that gets rid of the pain. And then what he did was he just made a drug out of it. He made an acid out of it, white willow bark, which gets rid of pain and arthritic pain. It's a natural pain reliever and inflammation fighter. But the white willow bark is not acid. It's not going to hurt the stomach. But what this chemist did, his name was Bayer. He called it Bayer aspirin, and he made.
Oh my God!
And that's a drug. And when he made Bayer aspirin and he gave that to his dad, it helped him with his arthritis, but he found out it gave him a bleeding ulcer, and it gave him bleeding in the stomach because it was an acid. But hey, he sold millions and millions of them, and he made millions and millions of dollars.
That's what they used. They used that in the 1918 Bolshevik Revolution. The people that died are the ones that they gave the aspirin to. The ones that wrapped themselves up and had fever burned it out. But the ones they gave the Bayer to are the ones that ended up dying. Not the Bolshevik Revolution. The Spanish, what was it called?
Yeah, right. Okay, we know what you're talking about. But we can't talk about any more of that.
Okay.
What about wild lettuce?
Wild lettuce is a natural painkiller, and you'll find that in many pain formulations. And you'll find it in this one. It's here. Wild lettuce is there in it. So these are all natural comforters that have been used historically and traditionally. And again, we're not prescribing or diagnosing. We're simply talking about foods that have a history and a tradition of helping when there is pain. And that would be that formula number 1999 would be a good one. So I'm going to go from there, and let's get on to because we talked about herbs for pain, and we talked about a very good formulation of herbs that are comforting. That's great. Let's move on, and let's go to another interesting topic. Let's talk about the heart. We have another report here. But before I do that, I see a couple of microphones that are open still. Mark, over there in the Kansas City area, what is your question, topic, or suggestion? Mark.
Hi. This is Sharon. My alternative medicine doctor. She did a series of tests, and she as a result, the test showed that I have microtoxins such as pesticides and the chemical from dry cleaning solvent. And then also I have mold toxins.
Well, excuse
so
me.
She gave me
Hello. Let me help you out here.
Yes.
Because you're phrasing your questions with my this and my that, and that's totally against the law for me to answer your questions. You can't do that in America. What you have to phrase your question saying, what if a person had microtoxins, or what would what might be some of the things that could be helping, but we definitely could not answer anything you just said, because you phrased it in such a way that we should all go to jail. I don't want to do that. So I just want to caution everyone here. I got it. You didn't know, and God bless you. But we have to be so careful, because we don't want to offend anyone, and we definitely are not prescribing or diagnosing. But again, if you could rephrase your question, maybe I can answer it in a different vein. Go ahead.
Yes, if someone has mycotoxins in their system, such as pesticides and dry cleaning solvents, and then also mold, then the glutathione is low. Also, there's the markers for inflammation is high. Vitamin B3 is low. What could someone what helps something in like that?
Vitamin D supplementation and the health and the Make Healthy diet changes diet from
Paul, you're a good student. From the Lifestyle Changes diet system that's listed right over here. Let's go there. Okay, so now we're going to click on the answer. The answer is the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system is talking about the foods that can clean up and clean up the body, because we got to do some cleansing and some detoxification when there is those kinds of things going on, and that would be and that would be a good system. So we'd go down, and we've got an open mic here that is not working. So, and now that and this mic is still open. And now we got it. Okay, we had microphones, and I still got a microphone open. And that would be where? That's over here in our Jitsi room. We've got an open microphone, and it's bleeding through. Thank you. Somebody closed it. Thank you very much. Yeah, we were competing with an echo. So let's talk about what could be helpful for someone who needs they've got mold, they've got mycotoxins, they're vitamin D deficient. Well, that points to a let's improve our diet. And where are you going to get an improved diet that's going to deal with those kinds of issues? Make lifestyle changes. And when you're on the website, herbalhealthreview.com, the first thing you want to do is number one, you want to click on that member intake form and become a member so you can view all the reports. Now, to become a member, it's $20 monthly to become a member, and you get to view all the reports. You get to come on this broadcast and ask me to explain anything that needs explanation. You also get a protocol with your, and it's $20 monthly or $199 one time for a lifetime membership. And then you've got me looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life. And what you've done is sewed into this ministry and with $199, $195 one time. And that gives you an herbalist that you can talk to. You can come on here. You can text me. You can email me. You can call me. There's all these ways you can reach me. But now you've got somebody who can answer your questions on a daily basis. And that's what I do. And that's all starts with this member intake form. It comes to me. It's an online form. And you fill it out online and you press the button. I get it in about 5 minutes. And if you made a $195 donation, then I'm going to get right to it and answer it right away. If you made a $20 donation, I'm going to get to it as fast as I can. But I am trying to make a living, with donations and trying to, try to perpetuate our work here. So we need donations. That's our only source of income. We don't have any sponsors. Nobody is giving us any money to be on this broadcast or to do anything with it. So the only thing we get is a donation. So if you want me to continue this work, please donate. Become a member by looking at the member intake form and making it.
Dr. Truman, Dr. Truman, your
$20.
bandwidth just went crazy. You just went all silent on us again, and your camera popped out. So if you can turn your camera off, let's try to conserve a little bandwidth here.
Okay.
And one thing that I want to share real quickly is watching this program on the Global Voice Network links and on the Dr. Truman links for that matter. The scrolling banners, the scrolling tickers at the bottom of the screen that talk about ediblehealingpaste.com, vibranthealthminerals.com, Vibrant Health Resin, and boostmito.com. Those links, those are affiliate relationships with Global Voice Network and not herbalhealthreview.com. So Dr. Truman doesn't make any money on any sales or promotions through those websites. However, the network, as in Global Voice Radio Network, does use those funds to remain on the air. The arrangement between Dr. Truman and Global Voice Network is it doesn't cost Dr. Truman anything to have his programs engineered by Global Voice, and Global Voice uses its own affiliate links to support itself. So Dr. Truman doesn't get any income from any of the other links that you will see on the bottom of the screen or any of the spots or commercials that may appear in a program. I just wanted to make that clear. So
there we go.
Go ahead, Doc.
Very good. Very good. So that's it. So my only income is when you make a donation on the website, herbalhealthreview.com, and please make that donation. If you are in a hurry, if you want express service, and then I will ask. There is a donation for $3.99 for 48-hour express service. Of course, that's not available on the weekend or on a holiday, but during the 5-day work week, within 48 hours, if you make that $3.99 donation, I work night and day on that one. I do that. I work on into the late night, and within 48 hours, I have created you a protocol, a step-by-step procedure of what I suggest may be helpful for your understanding of natural remedies that may be valuable for you. So that's it. That's the system. That is the system. And there's not another one like it in the United States of America, because I'm the only one that invented this particular system, and that's it. Okay, so now what we're talking about here is a make lifestyle changes diet system that addresses all the issues that Catherine was talking about, because it tells you how much water to drink, what kind of water, and it even suggests you put a slice of organic lemon in there to drive it alkaline. So now you've got alkaline spring water, which has got all the minerals in it. That is a good water to be drinking. Then it is talking about B12 and folic acid, half a dropper full 3 times a day under the tongue. Then it talks about vitamin D3, and it gives you a booster dosage to start with. And that is for a very short period of time. Unless you were, and this is for people who would be normally deficient in vitamin D3, which would make you one of the 40% of the world that is deficient in vitamin D3. In other words, everybody's deficient in vitamin D3. There's a few that aren't. And if they aren't deficient, then you don't need to take an extra dose. If you're getting plenty of vitamin D3, wonderful. But unfortunately, 40% of the nation or 40% of the world doesn't get enough vitamin D3. So what is suggested here in this report is for you to take a booster dosage for 15 days. That's 2 weeks and 1 day. That's not 2 months. That's not 2 years. It's 2 weeks and 1 day. 15 days. You take 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 drops under the tongue, and you do it 1 time daily. You do it for 15 days. On the 16th day, you're not taking 50,000 anymore. Then you're taking 10,000 per drop, or 10 drops. That's on the 16th day. You're taking 10 drops. But what you've done is you've boosted yourself into position. You're no longer deficient in vitamin D3 when you do this. And then you have a powerful amount, which is only 10 drops. Most doctors will prescribe 1,000, maybe 2,000, 3,000 milligrams, not much. But 10,000 is not overdoing it and gives you a powerful dose. And when you read up on what vitamin D3 does, I mean, even in the report, it states, the research says that vitamin D3 will slash the risk of cancer by 77%. That's what the study says. Now, the vitamin D3, once you get that level of vitamin D3 up in the body, then you have enormous benefits for the immune system. So there it is. That's how you do it. And it's all in this report. And when you click on each product, it'll take you over to the manufacturer. You can put it in the shopping cart, and they offer a discount. I get nothing from it, and I'm not selling any product, but I'm telling you how to get it and how to get a discount. Type in the discount code GOCC. That will take 20% off of your order. Then everything you're ordering is 20% discount. That's pretty cool. And so this is a step-by-step diet system. And it's so complete that it has the fulvic acid in it, and it has a multiple vitamin. It has colostrum in there that boosts up the immune system if you need it for a short time. There is calcium and magnesium. There's something that's called betaine that's going to break down your food and digest everything so you get all the nutrients from your food. I mean, you're getting all this B12 and folic acid, all this vitamin D3, and all this fulvic acid and a great multiple vitamin, and now you're able to digest it and use it. That's a big difference than taking it and not digesting and using it. So now the betaine breaks it down so you can digest and use your food. And then it's cautioning you to take at least 1,000 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams every 4 hours that you're awake. And I know that Edward probably takes about 3 or 4 times that amount.
Of which?
Of vitamin C.
Oh, you sip it. I make up a drink, but yeah, you do it 10 to 12,000 for a normal sized person. We don't make any. And it softens the cell walls so they irrigate and respirate properly all over the body. And it changes the hydrogen peroxide in your body. That's why vitamin C IV drips are used to knock out, prostate cancer. I've had friends. I said, how did you knock it out? In 80 years old. The doctor put me on IVs with vitamin C, large doses. I said, that's the right way. There you go.
Wonderful. We love those. We love those doctors who, have a broader sense of caring for their patients, where they're using food and nutrition as well as drugs. I think that's a good idea. Now, the other thing here, there's enzymes in this system, and there's probiotics so that you've got the correct bacteria. I mean, this is a system that took me. I'm still polishing that system 60 years later. I created this system 60 years ago, and I keep polishing it year after year. I'm finding better information, better things and now this is the best dietary system that there is. So it talks about all these things you can do to boost up your nutrition. Then it gives you a whole food, plant-based diet, meal plans, and recipes. It's all in this report. That's why you should join this system and support it. Now it gives you a power drink, and that power drink is going to give you so much energy that you can do anything. I mean, you can do it better, you can do it longer, and you smile more when you're working hard, when you've got a perfect diet like this. And that power drink that gives you all these super nutrients, man. And then it goes on to the whole food after this power drink. The first, all the super nutrition, then the power drink, then it gives you whole food, plant-based diet meal plans and recipes. So here's the secret. So you pick the meal plans you like. You pick the recipes that you like. And after you pick the meal plans you like and the recipes you like, then you go down and you look at the acid alkaline food chart, because you want most of your food to be alkaline, not acid. And if someone is suffering from cancer, they want their diet to be very alkaline, like about 70% alkaline. Otherwise, 60-65% alkaline is great. But if there's cancer, most people that are cancer, they're too acid. And so you're going to have an alkaline diet. So you have this acid alkaline food chart where you're taking the food you like, the recipes you like, and you are choosing them off of an acid alkaline food chart where you're taking mostly the food you like needs to be alkaline. That's it. Now you've got the perfect system. Now we need to do some detoxing and clean things up, clean up the liver, clean up the digestive tract. So when that's what we need to do. Then we come down here and we look at, in the same report, unclog the liver and rejuvenate the bowel and clean the blood. So how do you do that? How do you clean up the blood and the liver and the digestive tract? Well, you start with an herb called milk thistle seed extract and milk thistle seed powder that's in your power drink. It's going to be in your power drink, and you're taking a little bit of milk thistle seed extract, because consistent use of milk thistle seed extract coats over your liver. It stops any toxins and poisons from getting through. It's a remedy for poison, to protect your liver from poison. And milk thistle seed powder and milk thistle seed extract rejuvenates new and regenerates new liver cells by 60% every 120 days. So it's giving you new liver cells, it's protecting the liver, and that's how you start your day with your milk thistle seed powder in your power drink, and maybe 30 drops 3 times a day of the milk thistle seed extract under your tongue. And then you find out about this CAC liquid. The CAC liquid, that is going to clean up the bloodstream, the digestive tract, and it's going to go to the liver, and it's going to clean up the liver, and it's going to make every bowel movement softer. So you take enough of this CAC liquid, whether it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, until the bowel movement is so soft it breaks up in a cloud. When your bowel movement is so soft it breaks up in a cloud, that means you're getting everything through there, and you're able to clean the liver and the digestive tract, and the blood is now really cleaning house and getting rid of it. So now what you do is in the evening time, you take this special fiber that's got one of Edward's favorite natural herbs in it. It's called bentonite clay. And bentonite clay is in this wonderful fiber powder, and it acts like a sponge, and it's sucking up all the kinds of toxins and heavy metals, and it's pulling it all into this clay. And this clay is so powerful that it not only is it pulling everything into it, it's carrying an electrical charge, and the charge is a
negative ionic mineral that pulls into its especially elongated surface, or attracts to it. It's called adsorbing, AD like in David, adsorbing. 33 times its own molecular weight in positive ionic matter, and that's everything you want to get out of your body. Poisons, toxins, unwanted bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, and radiation is positive ionic. You want to get, that's what everyone needs to get out of their body.
So that's one of the ingredients in this fiber special. There's 3 main ingredients. One of them is the calcium bentonite clay. The second ingredient, and because it's carrying an electrical charge, remember, it's negatively charged. Toxins, heavy metals are positively charged. So the clay it's pulling it right in. It's attracted right into the clay. So now you're getting rid of heavy metals, and you're getting rid of toxins, and it's going into the clay. But there's also a fiber, psyllium seed husk fiber is the other thing in there, the second ingredient, and that psyllium seed husk fiber turns into a gel. So in the evening, 2 hours before dinner, on an empty stomach, when you don't have any vitamins in your stomach, you don't have any medication in your stomach, it's 2 hours away from medication, 2 hours away from your supplements, it's on an empty stomach, and it's 2 hours before dinner. And you have this, you take this number 4837 Truman's Fiber Special, and you take a teaspoon of it and you put it in, or a tablespoon, whatever amount. You want to thicken up the bowel movement, because you're making the bowel movement so soft with the CAC liquid number 1078. The bowel movement is so soft, it's breaking up in a cloud. But maybe now we got to thicken it up so that you don't have a leaky bowel. so that so that it absorbs everything in that bowel movement. It absorbs everything in your digestive tract. Matter of fact, it absorbs everything so much that there's no liquid. You're dehydrated. As soon as you take that, it's pulled everything into into that fiber gel. And you got to drink this down before it turns into a gel. So you take this powder with a bentonite clay and the psyllium seed husk powder in it, and it also has the super green foods, all the super green foods. We're talking about chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, alfalfa powder, olive leaf extract, even seaweed, Irish moss seaweed is in there. So it is a complete system. And there it is. Those three components, all of the super green foods, all of the bentonite clay, all of the psyllium seed husk powder, and a sliding through the body, and you drank it before it turned into a gel. So and a sliding through the body, and it's absorbing everything, including the moisture. So as soon as you drink that, then you follow it with another glass of water. Now that washes everything through there and it's cleaned everything up, and everything is going through there. It's hitting the liver and absorbing every bad thing that's in the liver. Then it's going into the bowel, absorbing every bad thing out of the bowel, and slides right out of the body. That is an efficient detox. There's a few other things you could do. You could go over to and get a formula called Heavy, HEAVY. Heavy. When you type that word into the search engine over there on that Better Health Herbs website, it brings up a heavy metal detox. This heavy metal has chlorella algae, cilantro leaf, coriander seed, garlic bulb, turmeric root, milk thistle seed, and that's all combined in a liquid. And you give yourself a squirt, about 30 drops, half a dropper full, 3 times a day. And especially during the time that you're doing that heavy metal detox, or you're doing that cleansing 2 hours before dinner. Now you've got the perfect system that is totally complete, because you've got the diet, you're putting all the nutrition in, you're taking all the junk out and absorbing it into a detox, and you're doing this for about a couple of weeks. So you get a kit, and the kit that has both of those things in it at the same time, and you get a discount from these folks. And I get nothing from it, but the kit is $44.86. Number 4486 is a cleansing program with the bentonite clay and the 1078 and the 4837. It's all together in one kit. So you needed to know that. So you get an extra discount that way. Okay? So you got a discount for the number 4486, and that's it. That gives you a complete system. And that should have answered your question over there in area code 301. Catherine, did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was great. I actually had a second question, to be very quick.
Okay.
If somebody was taking the chemicals, I heard earlier you said something about making sure that you were doing the food 2 hours between. I know before, I think I heard you say something about 3 days on, 3 days off.
Well,
I had a question about like that time frame.
When
When are the 3 days?
Okay. So now you're getting in. So what I said was that you want to separate your food and your medication. You want to separate it by 2 hours. So you don't want to be taking your medication and then taking this detox where it's going to absorb your nutrients or your medications. You don't want it absorbed. You want to keep it separate. So 2 hours before, you want to keep them 2 hours separated apart. Your medication, your food, your drugs. You want to keep them 2 hours separated from each other. Then, if someone elected to also do chemotherapy because their doctors prescribed it, and they decided and elected to do it, then you want to make certain to be 3 days on, 3 days on your chemotherapy and 3 days off whenever you can be off. And when you're 3 days off, after 3 days off, then you can be 3 days on, making sure you're getting this kind of a detox as well as the nutrients, all during the time you would still want to be taking all these nutrition, but you would not be wanting to especially do any detox, and you would keep it 3 days apart from if you're on chemo, and it'd be, so you're keeping it 3 days separate. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question?
I got a comment. There's only one doctor I know of up in the Northeast that uses chemo properly, and he starves the body first and then takes some glucose, which all cancer feeds on sugar, and he puts a drop of the chemo in it so it only goes to the tumors. Everyone else is just toxifying the people to a point where many of them get weak and fails their systems from too much poison in their body.
Yes, so I think that throws some light on the questions that you've asked. Was there anything else, Catherine?
No, that was it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for the question. And we are coming to the top of the hour. We could probably do a quick question. Does anybody have a quick question or a comment before we go to a prayer? No questions. Okay.
I want to say one thing.
Yes, sir. Please do.
My associate, his grandmother, was born in 1820. She reached womanhood in 1831, and she wore a 5-ounce porcelain container around her neck with bentonite clay in it, and she never quite used it up, and she would just refill it. She left this world in perfect health in 1956. That was at 136 years old. She gave birth to his mother at 93, the 21st child. And he explained to me it was because of magnesium that allowed them not to have hot flashes, all these menopause, and to all give birth at much older ages. And the calcium, of course, you know a lot. I talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Calcium bentonite. It's the most healing substance Mother Earth has ever given us, probably.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, as we are coming to the top of the hour here, it's time for some scripture, and it's out of the King James Version of the Bible, and we're looking at Revelations. Revelation 20. Satan bound for 1,000 years. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations After that, and they set upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. In Jesus Christ's name, our Savior, all praises to the Most High. In Jesus Christ's name, our Savior, Yeshua. Praise, worship, and thank the Most High God as we receive his complete, continuous, endless, limitless, and contagious blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua, we receive. So be it. Amen. Thank you for joining us. We are up to the top of the hour here, pretty close. Paul, are we pretty close to the top of the hour?
Yeah, we're pretty close. Got a couple of minutes. That's it.
Couple of minutes. Did you have anything else before we open up the microphones and all praise the Most High together?
Well, not exactly, except for this program is not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease and should not be considered medical advice. This is information with respect to food and nutrients and their effects on the human body only. As always, viewers are directed to check with their own local health professionals before acting on any information presented here. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Open up your microphones, unmute, and let's all give praises to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High. We're unmuting the
All
microphones.
praises to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters.
Did you want that back up?
All praises to the Most High. Praise, worship, and thank the Most High.
Yeah.
In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua. All praises to the Most High.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you right back here next week, Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find links to this program.
Thank you.
Find the links to this program on radio.globalvoiceradio.net. You can find the copy on Rumble at rumble.globalvoiceradio.net. and Odyssey, ODYSEE.globalvoiceradio.net. Also, Facebook, the Herbal Health Review Facebook page, and also the Herbal Health Review YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you right back here next time on Global Voice Network and Herbal Health Review. This program is presented for information purposes only. The statements made herein have not been evaluated by any agency and should not be considered professional, legal, or medical advice. Viewers are directed to consult their own professional sources before acting on any information presented here.